Media News Live. I'm Jeff C. So excited to have this is going to be a great show. So excited. I've been wanting to have Viveka on for a while. In fact, and so many other people are excited too. Peg Fitzpatrick emailed me today when she saw my email going, "Oh, Viveka, I'm so excited." So a lot of people are excited that Viveka is here. So we would love it if you guys would sprinkle the love across the interwebs. Let us know, like if somebody's like, oh my gosh, they're wanting to leave their job, they're wanting to start a new career. This might be a perfect show for them. So feel free to mention them down below and call them into the conversation, even if they can't watch us live, seeing the replay. I'm sure Viveka is going to drop a ton of awesome value. And as we're going, make sure you ask your questions today because we want to make the show all about you. Everything that we can, bring up on screen, we'll try to do. So we would love for you to do that. Grace, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I had to turn off my fan real quick. I forgot it was on.
It's hot in Texas. That's right. So,
oh man,
Viveka, where are you from? By the way, I'm not sure where you're coming in from.
Well, I'm calling in from Colorado. We live in Colorado. I'm originally Canadian, eh?
That's right. I remember. Colorado. Yeah. So you had fires up there? Is that what?
A little bit of fires. It's just been super hot, like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Cool.
And these studio lights aren't helping right now. I'm like,
no, I got my fan right here just in case.
Yeah, mine's over here.
I might start seeing some windblown effect going on.
Yeah, got some Beyonce going, right?
It's a bit glamorous.
Just weird flying everywhere.
Yeah,
exactly.
So. Exactly.
All right, folks. So we've already had some fun. So I'm going to hit go on the podcast machines. We'll get started with the show, right. And as always, ask your questions as we're going. So give me a second. Welcome to Social Media News Live. I'm Jeff C., and you're not.
And I'm Grace Duffy, and this is the show that keeps you up to date on what's happening in the world of social media. And today's show is brought to you by Restream, the #1 live streaming platform that allows you to go to over 30 online destinations. We're going to talk about that a little bit more because we have a lot to cover today. But to find out more, go to socialmedianewslive.com/Restream. That's Restream, RESTREAM, to find out more about it.
That's right. And today we are joined by Viveka von Rosen, and we're going to be chatting about what you need to have on your LinkedIn profile to establish your expertise in your current role and set yourself up for success in finding your next job. And we're going to explore how to build a personal brand on LinkedIn using new creator tools and video, some best practices and tips for creating video for LinkedIn, and how we should be networking on LinkedIn the right way with Viveka. So we also want to make sure that you guys know all about my friends over at Ecamm. They're also the sponsor of the show. That's how we make the show look so awesome. They have a great new webinar coming up called Leap Into Live. You can find out more at leapintolive.com. We'll be talking about that more later. But anyway, just want to let you guys know. I want to give a shout out really quick to our friend Sabrina. She goes, "Hi, it's Friday." And it's Sabrina. Well, hi, Sabrina. It is Friday. So good to see you here again this week. DZ Studios is here going, hey back at ya, DZ Studios. So good to see you here as well. So if you guys don't know who Viveka is, you really should, because she is amazing. I've known her for a while. I've watched her talk at Social Media Marketing World. She's amazing. She is the co-founder, chief visibility officer, master trainer, and head of personal branding at Vengreso. She is an author and LinkedIn expert. She's written 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn, and she's got an updated version of her book as well. She's also written LinkedIn Marketing an Hour a Day, and she speaks on the topic of LinkedIn on stages all over the world and all over the interwebs. Viveka, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see both of you again. Yay.
It's awesome. And if you're watching over on Amazon Live, we have actually got her books down below. So anytime during the show today, you can just click on those books down there and check those out, because if you're needing LinkedIn, these are the books that you need to read. So anyway, Grace, take it away.
Yes. Well, you are the expert on rocking it on LinkedIn. And before we get started into our topic of job hunters and recruitment today, tell us a little bit more about Vengreso with one S. And what is your role of Chief Visibility Officer? What does that entail?
Yeah, so Vengresso is actually a combination of two words, Ventus and Ingresso, sales and revenue.
Hmm.
When we came together to create the company, we're like, okay, do we want to be like socialsellingexperts.com or do we want to be more like a Google, which would allow us actually to move into any direction that we wanted to. So we decided to be more like a Google. The people that we work with the most are B2B sales teams, which normally you'd go, well, sales teams, what does that have to do with looking for a job? But it does, because it has to do with how are you selling yourself online? Not in a Amsterdam kind of way, but like, how are you actually positioning yourself online? So I'm excited to talk about that. And I think you've got some really wild facts and numbers and statistics that like just blew me away, quite frankly. So we'll talk all about that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, Grace, this first is one of them is this what we're talking about, this great resignation that we've all heard about. So talk about that. What is that all about?
Yeah. Well, this is the topic that prompted the topic for the show, right? Is this, are you ready for the great resignation? So basically it's as more and more workers are, getting past COVID, going back to the office, all these changes, like more and more people are deciding to leave their jobs and just as businesses, and this is happening just as businesses are facing a worker shortage, and this shift is being called the Great Resignation. And I've been hearing a lot of reports about it, and so there's several factors, right? So people have either reprioritized, they've discovered new skills or passions. I know at Restream, we found a lot of people really discovered live streaming, right? And building a business that way, for instance, right? Or, hey, we made it. We're surviving. We feel empowered to take risks, right? There's also some other negatives like burnout, the cost of childcare, lack of growth opportunities, and then also people finding that remote work was just ideal and they're continuing to look for that. So some stats that we found from Monster.com is that 95% of workers are currently considering changing their jobs, and 92 are willing to switch industries to land that new position. Now, this is rather high. I've seen anywhere from 40% to 70%. And then this is funny. Jeff sent this to me as we were preparing for the show. It was an article called Every Marketer Wants to Quit. And it was from a stat from Marketer Hire. Yes. And the survey that they put out there said that 78% of marketers are saying that marketing is about to see a great resignation. And 48% said that they are personally planning to quit.
Wow.
This before the end of the year, right? So, and at the same time, again, with the Labor Department reporting that there's a record of 9.3 million job openings as of their latest tally. And I think this was from a few weeks ago. So in all this, we want to talk about how to empower yourself on LinkedIn, how to sell yourself, not in an Amsterdam way, like you said, but, but whether it's a product, a service, a sale, a new business that you've just launched. Let's talk about what you can do to make a powerful and positive first impression on LinkedIn.
Perfect. Yeah, it's really interesting. We've even seen some turnover in our company. We've had several employees like decide I'm going to move to another country with weird time zones, or I'm going to, go back to school. I'm going to start my own company. So we've actually seen some of that in Vengresso itself. It's really amazing how COVID kind of opened our minds to what was possible. And I love what you said, Grace. It helps to empower you. So that being said, a lot of people then go, okay, well, I got to get on LinkedIn because, I'm going to look for a job, or maybe I'm going to start my own business and I need, vendors, contractors, et cetera. And then the first thing they do is create a resume online because they're looking for a job. But just like in sales, it makes a little bit more sense to have LinkedIn be your resume. But if you want to differentiate yourself from everybody else out there who's now had this great idea that they're going to go find another job, you need to stand out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Jeff, you had a question about LinkedIn Premium.
Yeah, so that's one of the questions I think a lot of people. So a lot of people are looking for jobs, and they're thinking about that number was so high that even considering it, like they're people are just like ready to leave. In fact, I wanted to bring up some of these comments. Gary says, a record 4.4 new businesses were created in 2020. Many the new entrepreneurs who struck out on their own, which is great. And then like Sabrina said, she goes, my sister said later and retired. So And people are moving, like Gary says that one of their team members moved to Thailand and still works for us. So
That's
a lot,
cool. Yeah.
a lot of these people are like, okay, I know LinkedIn's important for finding a new job. Should I pay for this for the premium edition? I don't even know what they call it. Or am I okay? Because a lot of times, when you quit, you're like holding on to every dollar you can while you're working.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, I think it really depends on what you're trying to do. So to save a little money, when it comes to rebranding, and we'll talk about some things that you can do to rebrand and who you really should be focused on. So when you're rebranding LinkedIn and your profile, you really don't need a premium account. Where you might start looking at a premium account is the job seeker account, gives you a little bit more searchability.